Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a double reaction for He from Pentagon. This one is, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. It looks like it's called Japjo. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's pretty close at least, but I did look it up, like the title through a translator, and it said it translates to like weed, not like marijuana, but like the weed that grows in the like sidewalks and stuff like that. Now, I don't know how accurate that is because it was AI translating, so who knows. But it does look like this has English subs, so we'll hopefully get a good picture of what this is. This was actually not on my list of things to do when I made my list of ones that I needed to catch up on. There's another song, we'll be reacting to that one later today, that is out from He. And when I found that one, I saw that I had missed this one. So I was like, okay, let's do them both and we'll just make that He's day. So let's check out Japjo. This is almost 5 minutes, so this is either a really long song or there's a lot of cinematic here. Knowing He's voice and how this piano music is starting out, this is probably going to be an emotional type of song. Sitting amongst the plants.
새어나오는 빛을 받아 비스듬히 자라났어. 나도 꽃이 고 싶었어.
Oh yeah, this one's gonna be emotional.
날 때부터 정해져 버린 이름 모를 하찮은 존재. 허나 이따금씩 빗물을 모아서 나의 옆에 작은 꽃망울을 틔우게 됐어.
Love his range, love his vocal.
끝도 없이 펼쳐있던 그림자에 가려져도 꿈꿔왔던 나의 노래 목 놓아 부를게. 낡은 믿음 너의 이름 산산이 흩어져도 흐린 나날 지난 후에
His high register too. Yeah, so good.
나의 전부였던 꽃은 스치는 바람에
It's a really creepy shadow. Like, I need y'all to show her face, please. There we go.
이제서야 알게 된 의미들. 다시 빗물을 모아 부르게 날 피우겠어.
Love that full-bodied.
펼쳐있던 그림자에 가려져도 꿈꿔왔던 나의 노래 목 놓아 부를게. 낡은
Really
믿음
good.
너의 이름 산산이 흩어져도 흐린 나날 지난
Little electric guitar there.
따사로운 내일이
Very soft, very faint, but it was there.
새파랗게 물들여가 갈라진 땅 그 위로 번쩍
또 없이 펼쳐있던 그림자에 가려져도 꿈꿔왔던 나의 노래
These harmonies, man.
와 부를게 내가 믿은 너의 이름 상상이 흩어져도 흐린 나날 지난 후에
Power ballad now.
새로운 내일이 올 테니
Oh man, so good.
또 새로운 내일이 올 테니
Sweet Jesus. What are y'all doing to us out here? That was he and Jung Hyejin. Hyejin, not Hyejin. My bad. I need a breather. Holy damn. That was fantastic. Is it something that's going to be on the playlist? Probably not, because ballads don't tend to make their way onto my repeat this song over and over again playlist. But wow, that was special. I don't know who she is, but she's clearly an established presence. Like, she's not an idol, she's a singer. That much I can gather. But just wow. Alright. The song itself, the title actually did mean weed, like a garden weed. And it seems, we'll analyze the message a bit more on the second playthrough, but it seems like it's about how maybe you don't have what you always wanted, but appreciating what you do have and continuing to strive and be all that you can be, maybe even be more than you can be, going beyond your limits, I guess is a better way to phrase that. And then, yeah, it's beautifully done. And of course, there's not much in the way of the cinematics to talk about, which reminds me, I mentioned at 4 minutes 55 seconds, this is either a really long song or has a lot of cinematography, like cinematic type of storytelling, if you will. There was almost none of that, so this was just a genuinely long song, and it still felt short, to me at least. Wow. Okay, let's go back again. Yeah, y'all ready for this again?
파란 지붕 아래 새어나오는 빛을 받아 비스듬히 자라났어.
So vocally, he's delivering this soft with this touch of vulnerability because it's communicating the struggle. All right, so in this song, he's the weed. He's not a flower, he's a weed. And he actually mentioned something about like wishing he were the flower or something like that in a couple of lines. We'll talk about it when we get there. But it says underneath the blue roof. Now, is the blue roof symbolic of something in Korea? The reason I ask is because I know there are certain images that this makes, like this reminds me of, but I don't know if they are actually designed to be like, let me rephrase this. I don't know if the images that this invokes in my mind would be what actual Koreans would associate this with. Like, is the blue roof just a storytelling device, like we're setting a scene here? Or is it symbolic of being South Korea? Like, I've heard, I forget if it was actually called Blue House, Red House, or what, but I know there was on Boys Planet, actually, there was a guy who did a song called Blue House or Take Me to Your House. I don't know. The point is, it kind of like reminded me of South versus North with the blue and red, but I don't know if that's accurate. Um, Really, this at this point, I'm hoping one of my Korean viewers will chime in and just let me know if I am on the right track and this specifically is a reference to South Korea, the blue roof part, or if this is just something else that is meaningful, or if it has no meaning, it's just storytelling. But anyway, moving past all that, basking in the leaking light on the floor. So, maybe the roof was a thatch roof or something like that. So it's like, or maybe it's got a few holes in it, and so light is kind of creeping in. It's not open air sunlight, but just a little bit of light. And obviously, plants need sunshine, amongst other things, to grow. So, as a weed, he's not outside in the sun. He's inside, like, trying to break through the ground and the cracks and trying to, like, reach for any sort of light possible. So he had to twist and turn to grow. In other words, he had to struggle to get noticed. Um, and honestly, this feels like it's probably a song about his career and what it either was or is now. I don't know if it is meant to be, but that's what it's telling me. Yeah, see, I too wished I were a flower. Like, I wish I was out there getting all the recognition and the sunlight. I'm a nameless patch of nothing. So he's a weed here, but if you genuinely feel like this, I don't know if you really do or not. I know you have in the past, but if you genuinely feel like this, just know there's a lot of people who still support you and have, love your music. Yeah. So I've been gathering rainwater now and then, so I've been growing little by little. Nice little vibrato there as he pulls back the power. Like, he went through the crescendo and then he pulled it back and trailed it off with a little vibrato. But I've watered the soil and waited for my small bud to bloom. So even though he may not be the flower, this is that part where I was talking about maybe appreciating what you do have and growing in that space that you are in. He's taken what he could find and what he could gather to nourish himself or his career. And if you know about plants, weeds, even though they're not full-blown flowers, a lot of weeds will bloom and they do have flower buds. They're just not, as big and pretty as the regular flowers. So even if I'm destined to never reach the spotlight, you'll hear me singing my lungs up a song I've always yearned. So, even if I never become a star, you're gonna see me doing my best and singing my heart out. Like, the messages I've always wanted to get to the world, you're gonna hear those, even if it's not, out on the mainstream. He used to be the leader of Pentagon. I shouldn't say used to be. He is the leader of Pentagon, but I don't know if Pentagon is still technically a group. But the point is, I know on Boys Planet, he mentioned how sad it was. Like, he came back, I think from the military, or maybe it was some of his group that came back. And after their song, they had one song that was like massively popular. And then they never reached those heights again. And he feels like no one notices them. Like, he he felt sad because like the fans had moved on.
부를게 낡은 믿음 너의 이름 상상이 흩어져도
This line right here, I almost feel like he's singing to himself. Like the things that you used to be convicted about, the things that you used to believe most in and fight for, and those records you used to hold, like those may crumble and fall apart. And he could be singing to the listener as well, but to me it's like he's singing to himself.
흐린 나날
Because then he's like, but the storm won't last forever. Like, I'm gonna make it through.
따사로운 내일이
Sun will be shining right down on me.
괜히
I'm gonna get that spotlight one way or another, damn it.
나의 전부였던 꽃은 스치는 바람에
Blown away by a strong wind.
흩날리고 다만 이거 원했던 걸까
Is this the ending I've always wanted? So it's that moment of self-reflection. Like, now I don't know if this song has special meaning to her as well, but just knowing what I know from he and his journey, like he probably sat down, and actually I know he sat down and evaluated his current status, his current life. That's why he went on Boys Planet, because that's not how he wanted his story to end. You know, he didn't want to fade into obscurity. He wanted to be back on stage doing what he loves, being in the spotlight. Him and Jay Chang, who we reacted to a couple of days ago, I will never understand how either of them or both of them didn't make the final group, but here we are. By the way, that show made Zero Base 1, for those of you who don't know what that show is.
이제서야 알게 되는
So,
일들
and yet I finally learned what it means to me. So this moment of self-reflection where he thought about, is this the end that I want? Like, no, like this is what my life's passion is. This is what it means to me. And so I don't want to go out like that.
다시 빈 물을 모아
And then talking about getting stronger and growing again.
끝도 없이 펼쳐있던 그림자에 가려져도 꿈꾸었던 나의 노래
She has a gorgeous voice.
낡은 믿음 너의 이름 산산이 흩어져도 흐린 나날 지난 후엔 따사로운 내일이
I have to keep pausing for two reasons. The first reason is because YouTube will block this if I don't, and so I have to keep interjecting something. But the other reason for this song specifically, and songs like this, although there have been very precious few that are like this, I gotta keep pausing and saying something to keep my mind going so that I don't like start tearing up. Like, the message of this is so strong and it resonates. It's, you know, it's powerful, and in a lot of ways it's even relatable. I'm not a star or anything like that, but I can relate to the idea. And so, like, yeah, I got to keep saying something every once in a while just to keep from, you know, tearing up here.
테니
새파랗게 물들여가
So I love this part because now they've both had their message of being the weed, and now they're both coming together for their harmonies. And this part of the song is where they're reaching out and like starting to get successful again, essentially. The barren land. So when you're a weed, like I said, weeds can grow in the cracks of sidewalks and whatever, and they're very resilient, just like he is trying to be. But it's barren, you know, it doesn't have the soil and the nutrients and the water and the sunlight and all that. So, but the barren land turning blue is, and actually now it's kind of making more sense about the blue roof. I spent a lot of time talking about that earlier, but I think it's just a metaphor for the sky. Um, but maybe like him being in the shadows somewhere, because it does say like, you know, sunlight kind of creeping in, not, you know, just shining on him. But anyway, still let me know if blue roof is supposed to mean something else, but now I'm starting to think it probably meant sky. Anyway, barren land turning blue. In other words, he's starting to poke through the cracks of wherever this, you know, difficult place is, and he's seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Like the blue sky is opening up over him, and he's spreading on top, like he's reached ground level, and he's starting to, you know, take off, so to speak.
갈라진 땅 그 위로 번져가는 꿈 짓이겨진다 해도 끝없이 피어나.
I didn't want to cut their harmony off too soon. So even if my dreams get trampled on this dry ground, because again, weeds don't get a ton of water. And really the only way to really get rid of weeds is to pull them out by the roots. But that's why they're so resilient. And that's what he's getting at here, is how resilient he's going to be. Like, even if my dreams keep getting crushed, you know, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep blossoming. I'm going to keep being me, and I'm going to keep pushing.
끝도 없이 펼쳐있던 그림자에 가려져도
꿈꿔왔던 나의 노래 못 놓아 부를게 내
Of course, we got that last swell here.
얘기라 산산이 흩어져도 흐린 나날 지난 후에 따사로운 내일이 올 테니 따사로운 내일이 올 테니.
Just beautifully done there at the end, where we get that quick staccato burst of the instrumentation, then it fades out, and you're left with just his voice as it trails off on the final note. Guys, that was just what. I know there have been songs that have left me relatively speechless or without, you know, any direction on what I want to say. But damn. That was amazing. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Shout out to the Patreons. Thank you guys for your support. Link to the Patreon is down in the description below. Go check that out. There's stuff over there that I can't put here on the YouTube channel. And subs over there get access to excuse me, guaranteed prioritized requests sent to the top of the request queue every month. Link to that queue is below as well. And there's also a link to the PayPal down there, where if you want to sponsor a request so that you can get it up to the top of the request queue, but you don't want the Patreon benefits, you can do it that way. So thank you for being here. Thanks for checking it out. I'll see you for the next one. Take care, everyone.